Hi everyone. Um, welcome to the 2016 Miss Globe World Finals. And tonight is a very special night, and a lot of your questions will be answered tonight. And I will try to address everyone's questions in regards to what has happened to the World Final that just happened last Friday night. And but I would like to thank everyone for joining us tonight here. We're still waiting for the president of the Miss Globe to join us. But I just basically would like to ask everyone to be respectful. And I know that everyone has been hurt with what has happened last Friday. But again, we as Filipino people are very loving, patient, and understanding. So I hope that everybody will basically be understanding with what's happening. Sorry, I'm fighting a cold. And I know that some of you guys want to make this Spanish, Sebastian Goron. But unfortunately, I'm not good in speaking in Spanish perfectly or regularly. But we are basically going to address everything. So I just want to show you the family. Nicole here. Okay, so we're basically getting ready for the crowning ceremony, but so I'm gonna be addressing some of your questions. What basically had happened during the final of the Miss Globe 2016, and I'm opening up my iPad so that I can basically go through what has to be explained. And number one factor is about, let's talk about Miss Thailand's inclusion in the actual top 10 or 11 semifinalists. So what has happened is that in the past, and even last year, the Miss Globe always has a fast track, but last year we have included the fast track, the Miss Internet as a fast track to the semifinals, and therefore, when it was held back here in Albania, the system is very new to the Albanian people, so you guys have to understand that, and it was all prepared for, and it was actually the mistake of the MC. The MC did not announce and explain that the fast track actually was included to make it top 11. So that is the answer why Thailand was announced. And it was already on the list of the semifinals, but there was no explanation why Thailand was there. So again, they're not used to the new system. So we had put that in place last year, and to basically explain that this year. And therefore, I know that there's a lot of confusion in regards to that. But, you know, I just want to make things clear. Albania is a very new country, and they are not really used to, they're not used to the new system or the pageant system that us in Canada or in the Philippines were used to. They see pageants as like modeling, so they're still learning on how to do pageantry. So again, we basically made a decision to do this crowning, to make things right, because I actually was the one who was talking to them about this before the actual pageant. I was been here for 3 weeks, and they told me that there will be top 5. Normally, the Miss Globe would only have top 3, and that happened in the year that my girl won, which was Jacqueline Wojciechowski from Canada, where there was only top 3 announced out of the 10 semi-finalists. And therefore, the third and fourth runner-up actually happens some other years. This was planned this year because last year we did third and fourth runner-up. Now, Ethan, no, actually, yes, you make sense that Thailand was not called, but she was actually notified from the production stage segment managers to move forward. So there was a confusion right there. And yes, again, there was a mistake that basically because of the fact that the MC was not aware, but on the actual listing, Thailand won Miss Internet, and that got her into the semifinals. So that's basically the answer for that. I understand that there was a confusion. When the actual voting of the Miss Internet happened, it was clearly obvious that Thailand was already leading everyone. Thailand was leading, and she earned that spot. Now, I'm not taking the organization side. I'm not taking the organization side, but there was a confusion because there was an error that happened because it was not explained properly to the actual MC. Now, why is there no Q&A? As I mentioned to everybody, in Albania and other pageants that happen in Europe, question and answer doesn't really happen. And question and answer only happens such as into the standard conventional pageants, such as the Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss International. And last year, we tried to bring that back. I facilitated it. I've organized the Miss Globe last year in Canada. And as the producer of the Miss Globe that happened in Canada last year, we did it in a very different way, in a way that we can basically do the conventional pageant. Because obviously I myself want Miss Globe to be on the top level like the other pageants. So we basically tried to do that last year. Again, when it was held back here, it's a different system they have. They think of beauty pageants like modeling. So it's mostly based on how the model or the girl performs through day 1 until the end. And from there, they pick. We as the national directors have selected the top 10. Okay? So the night before, when during the preliminary where there was a rehearsal, the national directors were given a judging sheet. Now, in the Miss Globe system, they don't have the point system. They base it on the overall performance of each girl from day 1 until the prelims. So from day 1 before the prelims, the girl has to show how she can basically represent herself, how she interacts to different people, through sponsors, through national directors, and through fellow contestants, and through the media. So they have to be properly, be well dressed, proper makeup, proper representation. And just to let you know, Miss Globe, the girls actually have to wear uniforms throughout the week. And therefore, when they wear uniforms throughout the week, the girls can actually be judged on how they can carry being glamorous and being a public figure, that they can even wear uniforms. And that's actually how they carry that. They basically also are watching who's always on time to go downstairs for breakfast. You know, these kind of things. So that is the main important thing of how they basically judge who they want for the top 10. So from the beginning till the before the prelims, they basically judge the girls on how they interact, how they behave themselves, and how they become an ambassador. So, again, in um, other pageants that are very conventional, because they have a huge amount of girls, and it's very hard to just determine who will win. They have to basically do the interview one by one by judges. But in Europe, they basically consider that by always going to be judged on every panel on how they basically perform. And remember, Miss Globe, they do a tour. So this year, they went to Italy, they went to southern Albania. So the girls are also judged on time management skills, how they basically have to arrange themselves with the other girls in the rooms to make sure they can manage the time on who will go down for breakfast. Before they go on breakfast, they have to be properly prepared. They should not be late and everything like that. So obviously behavioral status is very important. Now, I will go by the third and fourth runner-up why they're not announced. But please let me finish first the explanation in regards to how it's done, okay? So, back in Canada, because I tried to basically do it as a conventional pageant where the top 5 has to answer a question and answer. And back in Canada, I basically made it into like a Miss Universe segment where the judges are actually having a computerized panel to do that and enter the scores. But listen, Albania is a third world country. It's a new country. It's a developing country. They're not in that stage yet. So we have to understand that. And I know, yes, Philippines is also a developing country, but Philippines is very westernized. And we have to thank a lot of the foreign influential foreign influence that Philippines had. And that's the reason why Philippines is very advanced. But Albania is not in that stage yet. And they are basically trying their best to develop and be in the same level. But it will take time, everyone. So let's understand that. Because as you know, Albania was also a communist country. And it just actually ended in 1992. And from there, it takes time to develop a country and make it a democratic country. So, from that point, if you are where I'm seeing things here in Albania, you would see what I'm talking about. Even their airport, they don't even have tunnels for passengers when they land to actually exit the plane. And when you actually exit the plane, you actually have to go through outside, take a bus that will take you and take the stairs going to the plane. So that just explains what level they are in. And the reason why they're doing this beauty pageants and hosting it in Albania is because they want to show the progress of what Albania has. And believe me, I've been in Albania for a long time. And they have come a long way. So, that basically explains that. So, to answer your question, why there's no question and answer, because of the fact that in Europe, because there's other pageants in Europe, and I could tell you that you guys are all aware of, supranational and intercontinental do not have, most of the time, a question and answer portion on stage. And the girls are basically judged on how they perform. And you know what? If I was judging, I wasn't here around and I wasn't a national director, for people who are experienced in pageants, people can actually find what the rightful girl is, because how they present themselves on stage. And you look into their eyes, and in their eyes you could see pure beauty, the true beauty from the inside. So I know, and other people know, if other girls are fake. Okay? And to be honest with you, Miss India, She might not be the prettiest girl out there, but India has um, displayed pure elegance from day one. And I'm not taking her side why she won. She might not be the prettiest girl. She might not be the most glamorous girl. But this girl have maintained class and elegance throughout the week. And from the way she talks, from the way how she presented herself, um, she was a good ambassador. And Nicole did the same. Okay? Again, in beauty pageants, it's all by luck as well, you know. Everyone knows that, you know. And it happened with Venus Raw. It happened with other girls who went to Miss Universe. They're so strong, you know. But it's all about by luck. If that side was in was your time to be crowned, it will happen for you. I'm not saying that Nicole was not the rightful winner, because all of them did very well, and I'm very proud for Nicole to actually be there, and she displayed so much elegance, class. She's a world beauty level. So I could say that to you all, and I'm very proud that a Filipina like Nicole displayed so much excellence on stage. So mga kababayans, please be proud of Nicole. And when it comes to Nawat, and I can tell you this because I was in the actual pageant, on the pre-pageant, on the names itself, the judging sheets were actually given on the, when we sat down, and I showed everybody what was on the judging sheet. On each country, they know that they actually cannot vote for the girls. And when it was collected on that night, that's the reason why they collected on that night, to make sure that it's not biased. And if they see a national director put their own girls, or if they see that other directors are actually speaking to other directors and making a politics out of it, they will not count it. I've seen it for myself, and you have my 100% on that. Okay? Now, again, we're so used to the question and answer portion, because we're used to Miss World, Miss Universe, Miss International, Miss Earth. But other pageants don't see that as a measure of a beauty pageant or a beauty pageant winner, like Intercontinental and Supranational. So please, guys, I hope you guys understand that it's not based on the actual question and answer. Because, you know, sometimes, as you know, when people even get the answers on stage, they were already given this answer or question before the actual event, and from there, people look prepared and actually choreographed when they answer the question on stage. So again, I hope you understand that. Now let's go on why the third and fourth runner-up was not announced. So the four runner-ups, actually, as I mentioned to you, it does not happen every year. The four runner-ups, it doesn't happen every year. On the year that Jacqueline was crowned, there was two runner-ups, and have you noticed that the third and fourth runner-up have a smaller crown, and the first and second runner-up were given the Albanian crown. Now, in other years, there was actually no third and fourth runner-up. Last year, we did the four runner-ups and the winner, and all the four runner-ups got the same crown. So it's based on different years. This year, I actually provided all the runner-up crowns, including the third and the fourth runner-up. And that basically, what happened was, again, it was a mistake by the MCs. They actually, when everybody was coming up with the envelopes, they forgot to take the third and fourth runner-up and announce the third and fourth runner-up on stage, because there was two runner-ups, and you would see the crowns are actually similar to the first and second runner-up. So again, they made a mistake. It was an honest mistake, because again, the actual MC forgot to take the third and fourth runner-up envelopes, and that's the reason why that has happened, because I provided the Deli Art Association the 4 runner-up crowns this year, and it will be proven to you when the runner-up crown of Nicole will be given. And if it's said, oh, they're just making it right or making it correct because we don't want to upset pageant fans, let me tell you, it's not, because that was the original plan. And to do like a stage thing like that and just do it on an instant, obviously you cannot get a similar crown just like that, especially here in Albania. The crowns are very hard to get, because Piero, the designer of the crown, only designed one crown for the winner. So if I hope that actually answers the question. Now, in regards to India being 29 years old, because some people are making comments with what is her real age, I will leave that for the organizer to actually answer that question for you all, because this is his pageant and he's the organizer and he can only explain that to you. It's better that he actually answers that question for you. So please, again, I'm trying to explain everything to you all, and I hope that I satisfied all your questions. Do not attack me. Please do not say any rude comments, because I'm taking the time to explain things. And just to be honest with you, here in Albania there is a big culture shock. There is always a language problem. You know, when you say, I'll give an example. If I wanted a martini and I go to a bar and ask for a martini, they don't think of martini as a cocktail. They think martini as a drink that on a liquor bottle that you can buy on a liquor store. Not a cocktail. Again, Albania is not that advanced yet. So you guys have to understand that, you know, there are things, and the way how it's said or expressed things, it's not the same as how we Westerners, I include the Philippines on that, and people who came from the American or British system, that we are very Westernized, that we can understand things, and the way we can express it very well. But for a country whole life that was on communism, did not see the world, and then a new country who's just developing, becoming a democratic country, these are all new for them, and they're still learning. So that's basically what I have to explain. So mga kababayan ko, kung pwede lang, maging let's be respectable to all people, especially to the organizers, because they're also taking the time to basically make an effort to correct this. And you know, in the world, there's nothing perfect. People make mistakes. Yes, it's a very hurtful mistake. Yes, there is, you know, especially on live TV, things cannot happen that way. But you know what? We are all human. We all make mistakes. And being a Christian, if Jesus Christ died on the cross and God basically learned to forgive, not learn, but he taught us to forgive, because he sent his son to die for us, to die for our sins, and to save us from that original sin. Who are we as human act to be perfect and not to accept any mistakes from people? So I hope you guys understand that. In the world, there's nothing perfect. And if everybody's perfect, then nothing's going to be special. No one will be different. right? That's what makes this world very beautiful, because we learn from everything that we basically live, how we live our life for. So I hope that you guys understand that. And someone just made a comment about South Africa. Now, Miss South Africa is a very beautiful girl. She's a sweetheart. Her director was my BFF here. And, because we were both Westerners, we both understand each other. And, like, South African was also one of my favorite girls. And to be quite frankly with you, the height requirement for Miss Globe was actually 172 centimeters. And most of the girls that were, some of them here, were actually not reaching that height requirement. So South Africa was very beautiful. And again, I cannot answer the question why South Africa did not win or why Philippines did not win, because that's basically based on the judges. And there's a saying that we always have to respect who are judging. And I was not in that panel for the finals, but I can tell you that South Africa, as well as the Philippines, could have won the final crown. But again, each and every judge have different opinion. Who are they looking for? Who they're looking for to win the crown, right? So I cannot answer that question for you all. But as I mentioned, each of those girls can win the crown. Even myself, and please, I'm asking everyone in the Indian community, do not hate me. I'm just expressing my own opinion. I did not expect that Miss India would be on the top 3. She was not on my top 3. But again, to each his own. Beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. And maybe the judges saw something in her, why she was crowned. So who am I to say why she can't win? And again, that just explains it's by luck every year. And even Anne can tell you that on her actual book, on her speech. And she always tells people that she was very lucky that she was crowned in Canada, that she was chosen in Canada. It's all by luck, because as I mentioned, in different countries where everything happens, Albania was always looking for, they have different looks that they're looking for every year. So Anne being Filipina, the Westerners admired her wit, her the way she answers the question, and that made her win. But in Albania, again, it's different. So different countries have different way of what they're looking for. So for us to actually say, oh, it's rigged, or how come, there was no question and answer portion, it's basically because of the fact that people are have different ways of running things. And just to let you know, I will even admit with you, the way that they have their production here and how it was televised, and you have LED screens, I can't afford that. In Canada, we had to do a projector and everything. And because of the way in Canada, it's more expensive to do a pageant. It's not a pageant country. It was so hard to actually produce a show there that I basically had to finance everything. Government sectors did not sponsor me. Even corporate sectors did not sponsor me at all. I had to basically go and do a second mortgage on my own home to basically pay for everything, and making sure the girls have hotel, meals every day. In Albania, because it's a developing country, they can easily do a nice stage. They can easily do buses every week. They can easily have a nice hotel that the girls can stay and just enjoy the time. So because it's easier, because it's cheaper. It's cheaper here. So I can say the way they did their production last night with the LED screen and everything was more advanced from the way how we did our production in Canada. The only difference is that in Canada, we're very westernized and we try to do the conventional pageant. And that again is under the decision of who produces the show. So this year, Deliart and Albania have produced the show, and they basically have made that decision. It's under their own decision of how they want their pageant to be. Okay? So some people are asking me, why did I not do it for the second year? Because I can't afford to do it on the second year. If you guys know that during when Anne won the pageant, because I was the one who produced the show, it was my responsibility to finance Anne to her travels globally, in Dominican, in Albania. It was me who financed Anne her outfit, not her outfits, but her plane tickets, her expenses when she needs food and everything like that. And it was me who financed the first and second runner-up from last year and the cash prize of Anne. So that itself had cost me so much money to do, because being a Filipina, I was always raised by my mother. You always have to do what you've promised. And that's the reason why I stick to it. That even if I had to go myself into debt, and I will not go explain any further on what has happened to me financially, I did it because I had promised everyone, even Anne and everybody, to deliver that. And so just to let everybody know, because Deliart was the one who decided to produce the show this year, it's under their own discretion on what to do with their own production. So as the producer from last year, I am the one who made sure Anne was always safe and making sure that Anne gets what she needed. So, and that was from my own doing, because I'm responsible for Anne. I produced the show, so she was under my care. I became her managing director. So I hope that basically explains everything that you guys need to know in regards to that section. We're just waiting for the organizer. And again, Albania is like the Philippines, because they run on a Philippine time. It's never on time. So we're just waiting for the actual organizer to come here and do the proper crowning. And there's a big traffic right now in Tirana. I can tell you that there's big construction and everything that's going on. So again, I will try to address everyone's question. I will go back live in a few moments so that I can read all your comments, so that if there's any questions that needs to be addressed, then I will do it, because it's so hard to actually answer questions from your comments. Thank you so much again, and I will be back in a few minutes.